Hello students, today I am going to explain lesson 2 from Footprints Without Feet of class 10, The Thief's Story, written by Ruskin Bond. Before I begin, I request all of you to please subscribe to my channel English and Science Zone so that you will get the notifications of my upcoming videos. Thank you one and all. Ruskin Bond is a famous Indian writer in English. He was born on 19th May 1934. He is recognized as a leading writer in English, particularly known for his short stories. The Thief's Story deals with basic human values and relationships. I was still a thief when I met Anil, and though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand. So the author was actually a thief and of 15 years of age when he met Anil. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind, and simple enough for my purpose. I hadn't had much luck of late and thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. So over here we have a young boy actually. He thought that I can try my luck on Anil as he looks like an easygoing and kind, simple person. And this boy, who was actually a thief, had not been in luck for quite some time. He had not been able to steal anybody for quite some time. "You look a bit of a wrestler yourself," I said. "A little flattery helps in making friends." "So do you," he replied, which put me off for a moment because at the time I was rather thin. "Well," I said modestly, "I do wrestle a bit. What's your name?" "Hari Singh," I lied. I took a new name every month. That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. So just to start a conversation and to flatter him, this young boy told Anil, "You look like a wrestler." And Anil told him, "Even you look like a wrestler." So he was taken aback and he thought, "Me? I'm so thin. I don't look like a wrestler from anywhere." So he had to say something. So he said, yes, I do a little bit of wrestling." And then Anil asked him, "What's your name?" And he again told a lie because he was a thief. And if he gave him his correct name, the police was already after him. The policemen would really catch him anytime. So always whenever he talked to a new person, and he always gave himself a new name. And this time his new name was Hari Singh. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well-oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting and throwing each other about. I didn't have much to say. Anil walked away. I followed casually. "Hello again," he said. I gave him my most appealing smile. "I want to work for you," I said, "but I can't pay you." So after introducing themselves to each other, Anil started talking about how wrestlers oil themselves and how they throw each other and how they make sounds. At the time, both of them started walking. And Anil saw him walking behind him. So he told, "Hello." And he said, "I want to work for you." So Anil said, "See, I can't pay you. I don't have any money to pay you." I thought that over for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged my man. I asked, "Can you feed me?" "Can you cook?" "I can cook," I lied again. "If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you." He took me to his room over the Jamna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. But I just hung around, smiling in my most appealing way, and he couldn't help laughing. So when this boy, who named himself Hari Singh, thought he will not be paid, so he asked him one question, that "Will you be able to give me some food?" And Anil asked him, "Can you cook?" And he told a lie again that "I can cook." And he said, "If you can cook, then I can feed you." And he took him to his room over the Jamna sweet shop and he showed him the balcony and asked him to sleep over there. And that night when Hari Singh started cooking and he made a meal, the meal was so terrible that Anil gave all the meal back to the stray dog and told him, "Just get out from here." But the boy didn't go from there. He just hung around. He stood over there only and he smiled and smiled. And at last Anil started laughing and he told him to come into his house. Later he patted me on the head and said, "Never mind, he'd teach me how to cook." He also taught me to write my name and said he would soon teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. I was grateful. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. So Anil took him into his house and he taught him how to cook also, and he started teaching him how to write his name and sentences. And at the time, Hari Singh felt that if he learned something and he became educated, then he would achieve whatever he wanted to achieve. I think he knew I made a little money this way, but he did not seem to mind. Hari Singh working for Anil, and he used to make tea in the morning, and then he used to go to the bazaar and buy whatever was required for the day. And while buying, he used to steal around 1 rupee and keep it with him. And many times he thought that Anil knew that he had stolen money, but he never told him anything or never scolded him for it. Anil made money by fits and starts. He would borrow 1 week, lend the next. He kept worrying about his next check, but as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. It seems he wrote for magazines, a queer way to make a living. So Anil used to not get a monthly salary. He would suddenly get some money and suddenly stop, and he would go on worrying for his next check. And at last Hari Singh came to know that he used to write for magazines, and Hari Singh felt this was not a proper way to make a living. One evening he came home with a small bundle of notes, saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. At night I saw him tuck the money under the mattress. I had been working for Anil for about a month, and apart from cheating on the shopping, had not done anything in my line of work. I had every opportunity for doing so. Anil had given me a key to the door, and I could come and go as I pleased. He was the most trusting person I had ever met. So one evening what happened, when Anil came home, he told him that I had sold a book to a publisher and he had a small amount of notes with him. And when Hari Singh saw the notes, he remembered that he was a thief and he had not stolen for quite some time. Only he had stolen the 1 rupee which he used to steal while shopping. Otherwise, he had not done any type of work related to robbing or stealing. And Anil had given him the key to his house also. And he felt that Anil was the most trusting person he had ever met. And now he felt that it was time for him to do his stealing work, actually, which was his real job. And that is why it was so difficult to rob him. It's easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed. But it's difficult to rob a careless man. Sometimes he doesn't even notice he has been robbed, and that takes all the pressure out of the work. Well, it's time I did some real work, I told myself. I'm out of practice, and if I don't take the money, he'll only waste it on his friends. After all, he doesn't even pay me. As Anil was a trusting man, it was really difficult for Hari Singh to rob him because he felt if Anil would be robbed, he would not bother about it. And he was a careless man. He thinks whenever he wants to steal somebody, that person should be very greedy. Then only he feels sad that he is robbed. And so there's no pleasure in robbing a person like Anil. But still, he wanted to make his practice perfect of stealing. And he thought, if I don't steal the money from Anil, he would only waste it on his friends. And naturally, he even did not give him a salary. So Hari Singh thought that if he did not rob Anil of the money which he had earned, Anil would use all the money on his friends and waste it like that only. And anyway, he did not pay him any salary. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. I sat on the floor considering the situation. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. So at last, Hari Singh decided to rob the money which Anil had kept beneath his mattress. When Anil was asleep, he went into Anil's room and quickly he put his hand under the mattress and he took out the money, and he knew that he could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow and go away to Lucknow. And when he saw Anil, he was sleeping very peacefully and he had no marks on his face, and Hari Singh's face was full of scars. My hand slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. So as soon as he put his hand under the mattress for the notes, Anil turned in his sleep, and the side he turned was towards Hari Singh. And Hari Singh was really frightened, so he quickly took out the money and ran out of the house. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by the string of my pyjamas. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. So when he took the money, Hari Singh ran out of the house, and after running for quite some time, he stopped and slowly started walking down. And he had tied the money to the string of his pyjamas, and then he sat down and started counting, and he found that there were 600 rupees in 50 rupee notes. And he knew now 600 rupees was quite a big amount, and he could live a very luxurious life for a week or more than that. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life, but dashed straight to the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. The train had still to pick up speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages. But I hesitated. For some reason I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. So now what happened? He took the money and he ran to the station. He had never bought a ticket any time in his life, and he went straight to the platform to catch the train. And the Lucknow Express was just leaving, and it was still moving very slowly actually. So he decided that he could jump into any of the carriages. He had done that before also, but now he hesitated, and for what reason he did not know, that he did not take the chance to run away. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. And I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. So now the train had already gone. Hari Singh was standing alone at the platform. He had no idea where he was going to stay the night. He knew nobody over there, and the only person he knew was Anil, and he was the person he had already robbed. And now he left the station and started walking towards the bazaar, and his mind was full of thoughts. In my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. The greedy man showed fear, the rich man showed anger, the poor man showed acceptance. But I knew that Anil's face, when he discovered the theft, would show only a touch of sadness, not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. So Hari Singh was thinking that in his career as a thief, he had seen many men's faces, and he found that many men who were greedy, they showed fear when they were robbed. The rich man was angry. The poor man was accepting, okay, whatever is robbed is gone. But Anil was a different person altogether. What would happen to him when he came to know that Hari Singh had robbed his money? He would just be sad, not for the loss of money, but because he had trusted Hari Singh such a lot. I found myself in the Maidan and sat down on a bench. The night was chilly. It was early November, and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pyjamas stuck to my skin, and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. So he went on walking, and he reached a Maidan, and there was a bench over there. He sat on the bench. The night air was really cold, and it was early November, and suddenly it started raining, and soon his shirt and pyjamas were all fully wet, and the cold wind was blowing the rain on Hari Singh's face. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. Anil's money. In the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema. But now I had it all. I couldn't cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. So now Hari Singh was sitting under the clock tower. He felt the notes in his pocket. They all had become wet and damp from the rain. And now he knew in the morning, if everything was fine and he had got up, then Anil would have given him 3 rupees or something to go to the cinema. And he knew now he couldn't cook his meals anymore. He would not go to the bazaar. He would never learn to write any sentences anymore, because he had already gone from the house. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentences I knew could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. It was a simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be a really big man, a clever and respected man, was something else. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. So, when Hari Singh was stealing the money, he forgot all Anil had done for him. And now he was feeling really bad. And he felt that he should go back to Anil and he should become a clever and respected man like Anil. And he should learn to read and write. So, he thought of all those things. The time which he had spent with Anil was really a good time. I hurried back to the room feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Anil was still asleep. I crept to the head of the bed and my hand came up with the notes. I felt his breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes. So thinking of all such things, he returned to the room. He was very nervous because he thought stealing is easy, but to return the stolen money is really very difficult. So he stood in the open doorway and saw that Anil was still asleep. So he thought, okay, thank God. And he went to Anil's room and he put the money back where it was under the mattress. I awoke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. He stretched out his hand towards me. There was a 50-rupee note between his fingers. My heart sank. I thought I had been discovered. I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you will be paid regularly. So because the whole night Hari Singh was out, so he went off to sleep, and it was very late morning when he woke up and he found that Anil had already made the tea and Anil was giving him 50 rupees, and he told him, from today onwards I'm going to pay you regularly because I've made some money. And when he saw the money, the 50-rupee note, he was so afraid. Anil had found out that he had stolen the money. My spirits rose, but when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. Today, we'll start writing sentences, he said. He knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without any effort. So, when he saw the 50-rupee note, he was very happy. But when he touched the note, it was wet from the night's rain. And when he was taking the note, Anil was telling him that I'll teach you how to write sentences today. And in his heart, Hari Singh knew that Anil also knew that he had stolen the money but had kept it back over there. And Anil's trust was not broken. And then he smiled at Anil, and Anil also smiled back at him. This shows that Anil had forgiven him for whatever he had done. So we have come to the end of this beautiful story. Bye bye all of you. Like and subscribe my channel, and we will meet in